For Monday, March 21st, 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Boyce.
Here.
Martin. Dole.
Here.
Crockett.
Here.
Geske.
Here.
Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum tonight. As always, we begin with the approval of the minutes. We have our board meeting minutes from March 7th, 2022, our regular board meeting that were included in the packet, and hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to review them. Are there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, I would accept the motion to waive the reading minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Crockett.
Second.
Second by Phillips. Roll call.
Crockett.
Abstain.
Phillips.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Dole.
Abstain.
Geske.
Yes.
Motion, yeah, I'll vote aye. Motion carried. Public participation, is there anyone that signed up to address the board?
We do not have anybody.
Okay. Village presence report. The only thing that I really wanted to, announce and talk about a little bit tonight is the, as everyone knows, we voted several months ago to, accept a bid for the golf course. We went through the, closing, today. All the due diligence has been done, the different surveys and title work and everything was completed, and closing was scheduled for earlier today. And so that closing was completed. The money was wired to the village. The purchaser has picked up the keys and everything has been turned over to them. So that transaction is now complete. I know, Chris, you met with the new owner today, and they're just now getting their kind of good, having the opportunity to get out there and see what, exactly what the situation is. And did they talk today about anything about what their future plans are?
No, he just said they're still working on getting, being able to hire the help that they need. Again, he hasn't indicated that he's not going to open it as a golf course, so I assume that's still the plan. Just a matter of being able to hire the people to get it going. So
like I say, that transaction is complete. Good. I mean, especially at a day like we had today, 70 degrees. It's beautiful out. I'm glad that we did the sale and the approval and all that when we did. So now that the weather's starting to make it to turn for the better, that the new owner could potentially do the work that's necessary to hopefully get that up and operational and do with it whatever his intentions are. The only other item I got is because the weather's changing a little bit, obviously we're going to be getting into some construction season. This year I know that there's a lot of different construction projects that are planned, for the village and throughout the area. The county, I know, has got a road project that's going to affect Manteno on Division Street from Route 50 all the way over to, was it Walnut? Walnut.
Yes.
That was on the agenda for last year, and it never got done because they never had the approval and the go-ahead from the railroad. But I believe that's taken care of now. Jim, do you have a time when that's going to actually start to take place?
April. I think they're waiting on a few of the asphalt plants to open up, but I'm thinking first week or two of April they should plan on starting.
So there's going to be some detours involved with that. County Highway 9 is probably going to be detoured around to 3rd Street for a period of time while they're milling that and then overlaying that. And then shortly after that, tonight we have on the agenda the approval to start our Main Street project. So if that's approved, and that is going to be probably 4 to 5, 6 weeks out before that's going to start. So you're going to see a lot of different projects that are going to be taking place over the course of the next several months that's going to impact traffic and road. I know Aqua had a number of water main breaks that over the course of the winter. A lot of the road work that they temporarily patched, that they have to come back and replace curbs and different areas that they were able to fix, but they weren't able to get it to the quality that they need to have it done. So there's a chance that there's going to be roads that are going to be tore up and be there. So we have winter and we have construction season, and winter's over, and hopefully we're going to start the construction season. So please be patient. Everything that's, that's being done is going to hopefully make it better, nicer, the road smoother. So we appreciate everyone's patience. Village Administrator's Report, Mr. LaRock, do you have anything tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything tonight.
All right. Committee Reports, Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one item under consideration. A motion to award the bids for the Main Street streetscape improvements to Tenco Excavating Incorporated, Bourbonnais, Illinois, for a cost of $99,994 and $988.50.
No, that's 994.
Yeah, $994. I knew I was going to butcher it.
Yeah.
And my next Public Works meeting is on 3/22 at 7 a.m., which is tomorrow. We had, what, Chris, like 4 bidders, 3 bidders?
We had 4 bids that came in. Yep.
Yeah. So they came in the lowest, and we've worked with them in the past, so looking forward to...
Yeah, they actually did the improvements on First Street, so they're definitely well aware of what we're looking for, and they've done that work here in the village in the last couple of years. So.
The other bidders that submitted bids, I know one of them was local. What the other 2, were they from Kankakee County, or were they around here? Or
one bidder was actually, they just recently moved their offices from Burnham, Illinois, down to Crete. And so they're said they'll probably be bidding quite a bit of work in the area now that they're down in this area. A couple of these are actually coming about, I think, because we've switched to Novotny Engineering, and they're out of the western suburbs. Some of the companies that they've dealt with see it on their website, and then they're bidding to do the work down here as well. So that's why we're seeing some new bidders.
So it's nice to be able to get 4 bids so they can, see where the different ranges are.
Yeah. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Properties and Recreation, Mr. Martin is not here tonight. The only item that he has on his agenda is that he has a Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, or committee meeting, with commission meetings scheduled for April 20th at 7 o'clock here in the Village Boardroom. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 items on the agenda. One is an ordinance authorizing the sale of personal property, surplus municipal equipment. Maybe I should have started with the first one. We're going to buy some new Ford Explorers for the police department, and we are surplusing a 2013 Ford Explorer and a 2013 Ford Taurus Police Interceptor. So we're trying to update the fleet from 2013 to 2022. So that's what we are surplusing tonight. And actually, the 3rd vehicle that we're replacing, we're going to use that within the system, other places or whatever, someplace. So my other motion to authorize the purchase of 3 police vehicles from Taylor Ford and Manteno, state bid pricing. First one being a 2022 Ford Explorer Gray, $39,285. Second one is a 2022 Ford Explorer Silver for $35,237. And the last one is also a 2022 Ford Explorer Black, $35,543. And I know when Al was here, he was talking about this will not have all the police car equipment, so that's why we're doing this for these will be unmarked cars. Is there any other can add to that, Chris, or since Al's not here?
No, there's slight differences. I think Tim might be able to speak to this too, but I think there's slightly different options in the packages. That's why there's a difference in the pricing. But yeah, these are the 3 unmarked squads that we have for the chief and the lieutenant, and then one of the sergeants. So these are the 3 older vehicles that we have, and this will pretty much bring the fleet up to date. So.
And my next public safety meeting is Wednesday, April 13th, 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. My safety tip tonight is that one of our police officers was approached by a resident this week who had a question about snow plowing. During the conversation, she mentioned that she was a supporter of the police department and donated to their vest fundraiser every year. To hear she thought the police department was great, She said it was really enjoyed everything about, appreciate everything they do. The only problem is the department doesn't have a vest fundraiser, nor do we ask for donations from the public. So she is donating to the police department vest fundraiser, but we do not have a fundraiser for this. So this resident has been spending money to an unknown organization and now has no idea where or what her money has been getting used for, but is not going to purchase vests for the Manteno Police Department or anything else for the Manteno Department because we have nothing going on in that type of situation. This is a reminder that there are many scams out there and you have to be very careful where and who you send your money to. If in doubt, call the police department and they will advise you of potential scams or if there is any fundraiser. But as of right now, we have no fundraiser and this resident was scammed into giving money to support our vest fundraising, which we don't have.
Yeah, we've never had a fundraiser. I mean, the village always equips the officers and, with the vest on their hire, and then I believe the vests are only good for a certain number of years and they expire. So we have that in their contract where we have to continue to replace them for, it's kind of like the vehicles. We replace a couple of them every year, and so they're always got some that are being expired and some that are being replaced. So I know there's a lot of departments that have fundraisers for that, but that's part of our standard operating equipment and standard uniform equipment. So that's something that the village taxpayers and the village tax dollars have been paying for some time.
So if you have a question about a scam, call the police department. They'll let you know if it has any validity to it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Planning and zoning, Trustee Crockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have one item on the agenda this evening. It's ordinance 21-27, which is an ordinance granting the special use permit sketch development plan to Jerry Kerwick Builders for a proposed 60-unit PUD development known as Lifestyles of Manteno. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 8th to consider a request from developer Jerry Kerwick for approval of a rental development on his property located on Marquette Place South. This is the first step in the process. If approved, the next step requires significant engineering and will include details of the village requirements for control of the building exteriors and common areas. After consideration and review at that meeting, the Planning Commission is recommending approval of the special use permit sketch development plan. Ryan, Chris, either one of you have any comments on that?
Yes, it'll be going behind Casey's General Store there off of Marquette. As Todd stated, it'll be roughly about 60 units. It's in the engineering stage now, so that'll be the next step. They kind of work out all the setbacks and road design and stuff in those steps. This sketch plan is just kind of the idea, so this is the first of 4 or 5 steps that are in the process.
Yeah, this is a combination of like a building with 3 units. Some of them have 4 units. I believe the most has 5 units. They're all individual entrances, 2-car garages for each unit. It's a very similar to a project that's being done up in Orland Park right now that we went up and looked at. They're going to be all brick, and there's some siding up in the gable ends, but that's all maintenance-free siding. So I mean, the stuff that we looked at up in Orland it's a nice development. We talk about the ability to bring more people into town and the home shortage that we have. So this is one way to hopefully give people another option for some residences in town in an area that already has multifamily housing in that vicinity already.
All right, our next planning and zoning committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, the 22nd, which is tomorrow. And the next planning commission meeting is scheduled for April the 12th, 6 p.m. here in the village boardroom. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. I have ordinance 2128, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of real property commonly known as 110 Marquette Place, South, Manteno, Illinois. Chris, do you want to comment a little bit about this? We've talked about it in our committee meetings, but what we're doing with it and kind of the rationale behind it?
Yeah, we were approached by Municipal Bank. They decided that the building that they have is significantly larger than they need for their operations. So they reached out to us since we had bought the previous bank over on Route 50, asked if we might be interested in buying that location. We were right in the process of just beginning a significant remodel over at the existing police department, which is a very old building and definitely not as big as this, so it did seem like maybe that might be a good move for us to buy that building and convert it to a police department. So we started, negotiating with that. We've got the majority of the contract done. There's still a couple of small things that we need to work out. We're working with Joe on that, and I think this will be a good move for us. It will obviously need quite a bit of remodeling as well, but once it's done, it will set up the police department for a very long time, and that's going to be a good thing for the village. Again, with the dynamics changing in the police department with more female officers, that's definitely an issue where they're at now. We don't even have a room for them, so this will facilitate that and again, give us a police department that will work a lot better and work for a long time.
Okay, and to go with that, ordinance 2129, ordinance authorizing a 3-month lease agreement with Municipal Trust and Savings regarding a portion of the property commonly known as 110 Marquette South, Place South. This is for them to continue to operate until they have an opportunity to move and set up other arrangements. Next thing is a motion to approve an audit engagement letter for audit services with Skidoo CPA and advisors out of Bourbonnais, Illinois for financial year 2022. Payment of bills in the amount of $137,712.02, which includes TIF bills of $1,100 out of TIF 1. There have been no bills paid or authorized between board cycle, and our next finance committee meeting is scheduled for April 13th at 7 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Geske. And just a comment in regards to the purchase of the bank building. As we all know, we were just getting ready to start, a expensive remodel at the current police department when this all came about. And so obviously, that's not going to happen now. Because we're going to be purchasing this building and we're going to be going through an extensive remodel in the new building. Luckily, we were able to work. We had already awarded the bid for the remodeling for that building, but we were able to contact a contractor that was the low bidder for that. Actually, it was the only bidder for that, and work with them and explain to them what our situation was. That we had the opportunity for some potential changes. But we weren't going to spend the $500,000 on the current building if we were turning around and potentially going to be moving. So luckily, they were very amenable to the to work with the village. This was the first time that they had ever done a contract for the village of Manteno. They were, willing to work with us and basically, let us out of the contract that we had currently were under for the remodel of the current building. So that, that remodel is obviously on hold. The police department, the plan is that if this purchase is made tonight, the municipal bank will close on this in 60 days or whatever. Municipal bank will stay there until the middle of summer, until they have the opportunity to get all their equipment out and make the move to wherever they're going to end up. And then the village will go in and do a remodeling project on the new facility for the police department. So there's a good chance that the police department will stay at the current location for a good part of this year, probably most of this year, and maybe a little bit over, depending on how long it takes to remodel, get equipment, and make the move. But when they do make the move, they'll be moving from here over to Marquette to a completed new building that should take care of the PD's needs for the next 30 to 40 years. I mean, the growth that we've seen over the last 20 years, 30 years, if we see the same growth patterns, they should be set for a long, long time. It just so happens that the building that they're going to be moving into is somewhat of an exact replica of the, a little bit bigger version than what the current village hall is. So the two village buildings, the village hall and the police department, are going to be matching buildings on opposite sides of the street. They're both, very nice, attractive buildings. They're both going to service the needs of the departments for years and years to come. They're on busy streets. The police department obviously is going to be a focus when people get off I-57 or come into town on Division Street. It's a very prominent building that's going to be there. I think it'll enhance the security and the safety for that whole area that's over there. The question then comes up is, okay, what happens to the current police department on, here on Main Street? And there's been no decision, obviously, on that. This has all come up in a pretty rapid fashion. We are going to take time to try to come up with a plan as to what's the best use for that building, whether it's to liquidate it, whether it's to keep it, whether it's to remodel it. As you all know, we had talked about building some permanent structures on the square on Second. Those are all on hold now until, because now we've got that building that we could potentially use for the square on Second purposes, whether it be meeting rooms, restrooms, concession area, whether or not, we try to connect that to the square on Second. All that will be discussed and talked about and over the course of the next several months until we can come up with a plan. And then as the police department eventually moves out of there, then that plan, whatever it is, will be implemented. And hopefully it'll enhance the whole square on Second atmosphere and square on Second campus, basically, that we've created here. So, I think it's going to be a great move. If we all know that the village hall is we've got plenty of room there and we're set for a long time to come. This will do the same for the police department, and we're in the process of building a new facility for public works, which they will then be set for 30, 40, 50 years to come. So all the departments in the village are going to be in facilities that are 100% paid for, that will take care of the growth for years and years to come, with no debt on any facility in the village of Manteno. Money in the bank and no debt. So I don't think there's a lot of communities that can say that. So hopefully we'll approve that at tonight's meeting. Thank you, Mr. Geske. General Government, Mr. Phillips.
I have nothing on the agenda tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. So tonight, the items that we'll be voting on the consent agenda are as follows. The purchase can be voted on the consent agenda, correct? Okay. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have ordinance 2127, an ordinance creating a special use permit sketch development plan to Jerry Kerwick Builders for a proposed 60-unit PUD development known as Lifestyles of Manteno. Ordinance 2128, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of real property commonly known as 110 Marquette Place South, Manteno, Illinois. Item number 3 is ordinance 2129, an ordinance authorizing a 3-month lease agreement with Municipal Trust and Savings Bank regarding a portion of the property commonly known as 110 Marquette Place South, Manteno, Illinois. Item number 4 is ordinance 2130, an ordinance authorizing the sale of personal property surplus municipal equipment. Item number 5 is a motion to approve an audit engagement letter for audit services with SKDO CPAs and advisors out of Bourbonnais, Illinois for FY22. The award of bids, we have a motion to authorize the purchase of 3 police vehicles from Taylor Ford of Manteno. They are state bid pricing, one vehicle of $39,285, another vehicle of $35,237, and a third vehicle of $35,543. We also have a motion to award the bid of the Main Street streetscape improvement to Tenco Excavating, Inc. of Bourbonnais, Illinois for a cost of $994,988.50. And a motion to approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $137,712.02, of which TIF 1 is $1,100. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually? Seeing none, I would accept the motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole.
Second.
Second by Boyce. Roll call.
Dole,
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
Geske,
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Accept the motion to approve by unanimous vote the ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda as read.
Make the motion.
Motion by Phillips.
Second.
Second by Geske. Roll call.
Phillips.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Dole.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Motion carries. Tonight's comments, Mr. Boyce, do you have anything that you want to discuss?
No comments.
Mrs. Dole.
No comments.
Mr. Crockett.
Likewise.
I have nothing.
Mr. Geske. Mr. Phillips, okay. Well, the only other thing I want to talk about is, as you know, I mentioned earlier, the Main Street renovation. The county is going to be doing some renovation. There's a lot of construction projects that are coming up that are, you know, this summer, the Legacy Park concession stand. Jim, has there been any progress on that? I haven't been out there this week. Is there anything happening this week?
Yep, they've started laying out some of the posts, and I think they're going to start drilling later on this week. They've got a couple days of rain, but lumber should be showing up there soon. They'll have some equipment showing up as well.
Okay, and that's in partnership with the township, so they're, they've been involved in all the planning and everything on that, so that's going to be happening. The path connection project, we're going to be constructing a path from Heritage Park up to County Highway 9 to connect the north and the south path, so the engineering is getting close to being complete on that, and they'll be going out for bid, so there'll be going to be construction there at some point in time, but hopefully it'll be opened, in the midsummer so that people can enjoy it. With the weather like it has been, I've noticed a lot of people in the paths that we put in last year, and a lot of kids riding bikes and stuff on there. Public Works building is going to be, starting excavating at some point and doing, work up in that area. Obviously, with the purchase to the building tonight, there's going to be a lot of construction work that's going to be taking place over at the police department. So there's a lot of, what's going to turn out to be the new police department. So there'll be a lot of village-sponsored, township-sponsored, county-sponsored construction on, buildings, roadways, a lot of things happening. That's besides all the different private houses that are going to be built and PUDs that are going to be done, which require road work and stuff too. So it's going to be a very, very busy construction season. So please be prepared, be ready, be patient, because there's going to be a lot of dirt moving over the course of this year. I have nothing further except the motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Motion by Boyce,
Second.
second by Dole. Roll call.
Boyce.
Yes.
Dole.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming, for watching.